Hey folks, this is Alex Jones, and I want to tell you about Oxy Silver, the world's most advanced silver hydrosol that Dr. Horowitz says can make risky vaccines and antibiotics avoidable. You've heard Dr. Leonard Horowitz and others urge vaccination avoidance. Instead, use vitamin C, D, and Oxy Silver, along with Zeolife for broad-spectrum detoxification. Using NASA science, Oxy Silver is nanosilver covalently bonded to water. Oxy Silver safely electrocutes pathogens, oxygenates for faster healing, then delivers a 528 hertz frequency homeopathic-like energy that Dr. Horowitz proves is fundamental to life and recovering health. He also recommends Zeolife for blood cleansing and GI Flora Pro as a probiotic for intestinal immunity. Help others and earn extra income. Become a Healthy World affiliate free online. To order Oxy Silver or to find out more, visit oxysilver.net. That's OXY silver.net. Or call about Oxy Silver, Zeolife, and GI Flora Pro toll free at 1-888-KO-GERMS. That's 1-888-KO-GERMS. Do it now. Hello, this is Alex Jones with some important questions. If you're going into a battle and they give you a rifle and a sidearm, how much ammunition do you want? My answer would be all I can get. In the battle for freedom and the lives of your loved ones, food is your only ammunition. How much do you want? When do you want it? Now or after the battle starts? When will you need it? Can you buy it without proper identification? Will there be any food? Will it make your children sick? If there's a quarantine and you can't feed yourself, will you go to the gathering center and be immunized? You wipe out all these problems if you have a good food supply. Food is your ammunition to fight for your freedom and your life. How much will you need? We don't know. How much do you want? All you can get. I'm Alex Jones. I want all of you good guys to live to fight another day. Call 1-800-409-5633 or check it out on the web at efoodsdirect.com. Again, that number, 1-800-409-5633. This is Alex Jones, and I want to tell you about the Ecola Blue atmospheric water generator that produces pure drinking water right from the humidity in the air. No, this isn't science fiction. It's very real. I know because I use one every day in my own home, and it's available right now to you. Because you know exactly where your water comes from with Ecola Blue, you'll know what's in your cup. Clean, great-tasting water without all the pollutants. Get your family off the grid today by ordering your own Ecola Blue atmospheric water generator for your home or business. Their best seller, the Ecola Blue 28, produces up to 7 gallons of water every day. The Ecola Blue 28 is easy to use and economical. Generate your own pure water from the humidity in the air. This system is free of chemicals and uses a multi-stage filtration system, including reverse osmosis, carbon filters, and ultraviolet lights. Order now and claim your water independence today by calling Ecola Blue at 1-800-691-6043. That's 1-800-691-6043. Or visit Ecola Blue on the web at www.ecoloblu.com today. Alan Colmes with us another 27 minutes or so, and I'm going to let Alan ask me some questions, too, because you've been asking me, what I think of Glenn Beck and stuff during the break, so we'll do that all live here on air. But Alan, let's get down to brass tacks on the subject of New World Order world government. 15, 16 years ago, I would read UN documents calling for a global government, calling for global one-child policies, Trilateral Commission calling for it. I would talk about it. I would be called a kook, written up in federal reports as dangerous. Now, I have in my hand, we're also live on the internet on TV, we can do it. New York Times, October 26, 2009, Ban Ki-moon, Secretary General of the UN. He calls for global government structure, global governance. In the article, those are quotes, and says the carbon tax will finance the global government. So let me ask Alan Colmes. We now have Limbaugh admitting world government after denying it for decades. We now have Glenn Beck coming along talking about it. So it's kind of like a right-wing issue now. And then meanwhile, the Southern Poverty Law Center, ADL, CBS News, I've got all these articles right here, Salon, Media Matters, all the George Soros publications are saying I am basically this dangerous liar who is lying to everyone and saying world government is here. Alan Colmes, because any given day I can go to Google and type in New World Order, world government, and get hundreds of articles in mainstream news announcing world government, saying it's good. So, Alan Colmes, I'm asking you, how is the mainstream media going to have this, where they say there is no world government, no move towards global government, but at the same time admit that there's a world government? How do they admit there's a world government, but then separately if you talk about it and say you don't want it?
They, as admitting there's a world government. As far as Moon is concerned, he runs the UN. I don't know exactly what he said about world government. You have people like Beck and you have Limbaugh who have such contempt for Obama that they're going to say, oh, my God, look at this Marxist, look at this horrible left-wing totalitarian. He wants to take over the world and scare people and make them believe that somehow with a liberal lefty guy in the government who is, they think in some cases, not the people I mentioned, but some of their followers believe he was born in Kenya, wasn't even an American, and how dare this guy take over our government? They're going to run it. It's going to be a world government. It's fear-mongering. Regardless of what the UN says, Alex, we are a sovereign country. We're not in any danger of not becoming a sovereign country. I don't believe that the UN or any other world body will be taking over our government. Of course, we do have to have treaties with other countries, whether it's treaties on the environment, as you mentioned, whether it's whether it's economic issues. We live in a world community. It does take a village, and it takes a global village. So the idea that we can live isolated from the rest of the world, but in terms of sovereignty, nobody's taking over the United States.
Look at the World Trade Organization agreement. It has more power than our Congress does over trade. Let me read you what Ban Ki-moon said in the New York Times. A deal must include an equitable global governance structure. All countries must have a voice in how resources are deployed and managed. Well, that's a way of saying there, if you read the whole article, that the UN is going to decide where the resources go, and the countries will have their say.
Well, the UN doesn't have a right to unilaterally make that decision. Ban Ki-moon can say whatever he wants to say. He runs a global organization. Because he says it.
Hold on, but Alan, here's what I'm saying. You can't say people are kooks, because, and I'm not saying you're saying this, but just because they talk about global government when it's in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of articles. Here's the problem. I talked about how they were going to devalue the currency, bring in a global carbon tax, a monetary tax, set up this private global government around the IMF. That's now been announced. Here it is, Financial Times of London, and now for a world government. And they go on to say we need global government now, and it needs to be authoritarian to save the planet. I mean...
Well, you say they say it, Alex. There are always people who are going to say that. They're going to be kooks who say we need a world government. They're going to be crazy people who say we're going to take over the world. But the sovereign nations of the world are not going to submit to a world government. And
unless they're bankrupted from the inside by the very same banking institutions that are founding the world government.
Now you're into conspiracy theory stuff.
No, we are. Okay, did Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan Chase, are they making record profits right now? Did they come out smelling like a king, smelling like a 24-karat rose after the crisis last year?
Didn't they fold? Or one of them folded? I mean, I don't know how you call that smelling like a rose. I don't see it that way at all.
No, J.P. Morgan, record profits. Goldman Sachs, record profits. They got to take over Bear Stearns, their competition.
What about all the companies that folded, that failed, that couldn't survive? That indeed institutions, Lehman Brothers, that you thought would be around forever.
It was a great consolidation. That's what the bigger, more powerful central banks wanted. It was Goldman Sachs that had their people all over the government in the key regulatory positions.
Look, if you are someone who worries about world government and you spend a lot of time, you will take everything you see as a sign that apocalypse is coming. I don't see it that way.
Well, Alan, I'm not saying an apocalypse is coming.
Kind of apocalypse.
I have CBS News. I have ADL saying...
You can quote those media organizations
No, hold on.
Bring you stories about those people who think this is happening, but we are and will continue to be a sovereign nation.
Alan, let me just finish this point to you. I'm here looking at the ADL. It says, rage grows in America, anti-government conspiracies, anger on the fringes, Alex Jones, the conspiracy king. And then they go and...
be flattered. You're a king.
Yeah, but they say I'm bad because I talk about a global government run by private banks. That's what's being set up at the G20. They're actually proposing it.
Well, it's again, you do wander into conspiracy theory territory. No country is going to give up their sovereignty to allow a global government. Do you really think the United States, under Obama or anybody else, is going to give up its sovereignty?
We'll still have the American flag out there flapping in the wind, but for all intents and purposes, just like the IMF and World Bank go in and take over third world countries and